hopefully the turn of the tide. God, I hope so. A lot of people are posting woke is back, and I don't necessarily think that's true. I think that we have a lot more work has to be done. You know, like there's an uphill battle that has to be fought here. But I will say, I think that the woke era of like the first Trump administration, 2015 to 2020, you know what I think? I think it was unearned. It was shaky. You know, on sea legs. It was very Tumblr. It was very decentralized. It was very, no one knew what they were doing. Trump was holding an LGBT flag upside down. You know, Pelosi was kneeling with the Kenta cloth. Nobody knew what was going on. It's the true woke, real woke, will be built on a foundation of skulls, right? We know what wokeness is meant to be. Okay, wokeness is the trans Gestapo, making sure that everyone takes their HRT. You know, wokeness is pronouns or you're fired. We need to get to that, but we need to fight for it. Last time it didn't go nearly far enough. Feeling generous today because for the first time in a year, politics doesn't make me want to kill myself. Thanks for the streams, Vaush. Hey, have I not said, pardon me, I'm not trying to make this like, you know, it's all about me, whatever. But has what's happened today not been a logical derivation of what I've talked about over the past nearly a year now, since Trump won? How there will be an initial wave of momentum where they're going to try to flood the zone and get a bunch done, but over time the social capital that they have is going to be eroded because they have no plans to make anything actually like better. That rising voices in the Democratic Party, or people who are willing to like break from the party's message. I said this before Mamdani was even a factor. People who are willing to break from the Democratic Party's message and take advantage of the quiet and the confusion are going to get a huge amount of like national attention, and that I'm surprised more people in Congress hadn't done that. It turns out a mayoral candidate was the one to do that, you know? All I'm saying is you can't only get happy and optimistic and excited and enthusiastic and so on about the good outcomes. Good outcomes are built on good work, and good work is something you have to put the hours in for, you know? That's something you have to keep showing up for time after time after time, and you have to be able to identify the patterns that feed into it. You know? And I'm not, you know, you're not always going to win, right? There's always going to be disappointments. They're just saying you have to keep your eyes on the prize here. And that's a long-term prospect. You don't want to be someone who just tunes in for the, I'm not implying you're doing that. I'm just saying. But yeah, you know. Also, I know you joke about it, but you do have at least one straight black Christian male here. Yes! Notching that one off on the damn list. Road tag, I'll remember that the next time I get in an argument over it, okay? My friends make fun of me sometimes. I'm out in the town, somebody recognizes me, they're like, oh my god, are you Vaush? They take a picture with me, and then one of my friends or my beautiful partner will be like, white? And I'll say, what? They were like, they were white again. And I have to play it cool, but internally I'm like, fuck. You help inspire me to look after myself amid all this bullshit. Hey, a great example right there. Do you think Mamdani could have pulled off what he just pulled off if he did not have his personal care and like own life discipline on lock? There is no way on any level that what he did could have been done by a person who did not have an extremely fastidious, well-disciplined day-to-day life. His time, his energy, his money, his social relationships for God knows how long. I mean, he has had his feet planted. I'm just saying, you know? Perhaps he's disciplined because he has reasons to be so. Yeah, but I bet you even if he had lost the race or had never gotten into politics, he would still say that he didn't regret being so disciplined. And how do you know what opportunities in life are open to you unless you're disciplined, you know? Like if you spend all of your free time smoking weed on the couch, of course it seems like life is racing you by and every day is like the previous one and no opportunities open up to you and you're losing your friends and everyone's drifting out of touch. My brother in Christ, you're the one drifting away. You're the one burning the rope of your life out on both ends. Yeah, we saw the video too. It's on my mind. But, you know, isn't that also a great example of me being right? Oh, how the pot smokers gave me shit for my totally reasonable takes. I'm not draconian about it. I'm not saying you're morally bad if you ever smoke weed, but a lot of people have weed addictions and they won't fucking confront it. And they're so obvious with it, dude. It's so obvious. If you say something like, yeah, if you spend every day smoking weed and you smoke weed first thing in the morning, you probably have a problem. People in chat being like, no? Dude, what are you, a fucking cop? What are you, a fucking Republican? It's like alcohol. Yeah, if I said, you know, you probably shouldn't start your day by slamming back 2 shots of whiskey, and somebody in chat was like, dude, what the fuck? That's not even that much. You instantly know what that guy's life is like, you know? Robin Swords is what I expect Vaush content will be like in 6 months, but with video game in theory. Is this the fellow with the swords and the big bulge? Yes, it is. Swords, big bulge, and a big coat. I've told you, fellas, there are benefits to autism maxing, you know? This guy's autistic as all get out. Does it stop him from having people drooling over him in the comments? No. People are like, oh, well, that's because he's handsome. Buddy, go look at his older videos. Yeah, he got more handsome because he started taking care of his appearance. For his hair, his facial hair, his clothing, his styling in general. Yeah, like he put effort in, you know? Anyway, yeah, he's cool. He's cool. I like him. Speaking of addiction, did you see the Lil Tay take that porn addiction doesn't exist? Isn't Lil Tay, who's Lil Tay? Isn't Lil Tay like the kid who was abused by her older brother? What's the, I don't know. I don't know what the prior context is. She's 18 now and has OnlyFans. Welcome to hell. They really do have to raise the like legal like pornography publishing age to 21 or something. Gotta be skinny to be handsome. That's what society tells me. Not true at all. However, I will say this. If you are fat or chubby, you do have to work out. There's a reason why when people draw like bara men, like attractive chubby men, they're clearly like built, not just chubby or fat, you know? Even the biggest chubby slash fat lovers like there to be some structure. And having some muscle to give structure to your fat makes such a big difference, dude. Such a big difference. It makes you look a lot better. Yeah, I saw the New York Post header. It's pretty fucking good. If I was Mamdani, by the way, I would get this framed. Easily, I'd get this framed. Yeah, it's history. Okay, hold on. Dude, my keyboard. My keyboard! My keyboard! Function! Function! Can we get that as an emote? That would be a decent emote. Okay, wait, is my keyboard just straight broken now? There we go. Jesus Christ, I gotta get a replacement for that. One of the have you guys noticed how in the past maybe couple of weeks, whenever I type out like something, it takes longer than it used to? Like whenever I'm clearly typing something, like you see me doing this or whatever, it takes a little longer than it used to. I've been getting so many like missed keystrokes. Pissing me off, man. I thought you were just slow. Well, that too. I think Mamdani should also lift some fucking weights. He looks too soft and his wife is too hot for him. Your envy is showing, my friend. Muscular people love to do that shit. They love to be like, this hot, talented, confident guy is skinny fat. Why does he have a hot wife and I don't, you know? And it's like, I don't know, man. Sometimes life apportions relationships in fascinating ways, you know? My question is, you know, are they open, right? The dream of like 2 million New Yorkers right now is to be spotted from across the bar by Zohran and his wife, and to be told that they like their vibes. Haven't we seen him without a shirt? No, you're thinking of Platner, 17 fucking days in a row. I hope Zohran makes it possible for me to move to New York City someday from Iowa. There's no way I could afford it now, but I've always wanted to live in a city like that. God bless you. Haven't we all? Yeah. New York City isn't the only cool place in America, but it is the only New York City in America. And it should have a population of 40 million. So yeah, we're going to have to support Zohran through his mayorship aggressively to make sure that he's able to achieve his agenda of affordability and wokeness. 3.25 years sober from booze, 2 years free from nicotine, now 2 weeks clean from weed. Can I get a hell yeah? Hell yeah! Well done. God damn, you're tossing the vices off. What do you have left? Gambling, masturbation? You know, you've got to have something. That's crazy. Well done. Hey, I haven't had the chance to talk about this on stream, but speaking of habit-forming behaviors, anyone else seen the Reza arc? Reza? I'm not going to spoil it. I mean, I've read the manga ages ago, but that was fucking good, huh? That was fucking good. I'm probably going to see it a second time. The what? The Chainsaw Man movie covering the Reza arc. Raise it? I'm not entirely sure. Raise it? Not entirely sure how. It's not yet on the sites. I think it's worth seeing in theaters. Is caffeine a vice? It can be, I suppose. I do think people are being a little bit of a, like, redditeur when they mention it in the same breath as, like, marijuana or alcohol or whatever. Like, the idea that all psychoactive chemicals are equal. I don't know. It just comes across a little bit like deflection. Like, we know it's not the same thing. We all know. So, I mean, it can be. Is it not a daily consumed stimulant? See, well, again, now you're doing the, like, Redditor thing, because the obvious thing that we're looking for, like, yeah, so is, like, water, because water stimulates me to fucking live. Like, you're doing the thing. You're doing the thing. Like, no one buys this. It's like a semantics game, but it just makes you look bad. Not necessarily you. I'm talking more, like, broadly, but it's like, you know, no one buys this from outside. That we all know perfectly well what addiction looks like. Anyhow. Yeah, I really hope New York City becomes an affordable goal to live at, you know, for anyone who wants to go there. It used to be a haven for new immigrants and people down on their luck, you know? And I think it can be again, at least to a point. There is a limit to how far they can extend it before they run out of space, but right now, there's room. And you know what else I want to see focused on? I would love it if more people around the country wanted to focus on making New York City not the only New York City. Like, you can have other cities be beautiful multicultural havens of productivity and culture. You can do that, you know? Yeah, Chicago is kind of close. And people say the same to an extent about Boston, Philadelphia. You know, there are places in America that are hitting that energy to an extent, but a lot more work has to be done. At the end of the day, it just comes down to walkability. Abhinav Bharadwaj. Sorry. Thank you for the 1,000 Indian rubles. We need more DSA members or just everyday people who support people first policy to challenge every single seat across the country, given they aren't Riz deficient like they sometimes are, or run independent in counties that are Democrat allergic. No, 100%. Yeah, this Mamdani's win is the biggest. For one, like, his campaign has been huge for the DSA broadly, but Indian rubles is wild. No. Rupees is Zelda, isn't it? Isn't it rubles for India and rupees is for Zelda? It's not rubles? Rubles is Russia? Rubles is Russia! Okay, sorry. I was thinking I had rupee in mind, but then I thought that's Zelda. Okay, rupees, not rubles. That's right, rubles is Russian. Yeah. You can tell because they both start with RU. Yeah. Whoa, yeah. I'm trying my best over here, okay? Anyway, yeah, no. It's been a massive win for the DSA. Massive win for the DSA, and I'm hoping that it increases their prominence all over the country. That'd be nice. I think given this victory, it is time I lock in and do something with my own life. You're telling me he's only 34? Holy shit, Orifarm. Yeah, it is insane. He is insane. It is remarkable in a million ways. But you know, it's never too late to make the most of what you can. All of you have the ability to go turn into your local town hall and try to see what's up. Find out if there are any local advocacy groups and to do your best. You just have to commit to it. You have to take it seriously, you know? You can't think, today I think maybe I'll alleviate my anxiety that I'm not doing something with my life by half-heartedly, partially committing to something, and then the next day I'm going to go back to my routine. You gotta commit. That's life, you know? When you're out there, you know, following the Bushido code, wandering the forests, and you come across a master swordsman, you don't hear, well, how do you get to be that way, you know? Not from moonlighting as a swordsman, you know? Man wasn't training his Hashido stroke, you know, 1 hour a week, and the rest of the time he was just fishing or whatever. You got to commit your life. You want to be impressive, you have to study the blade. Mamdani needs to run for president someday. I don't want him to be. And he could end up being far more culturally influential now in his current role than he ever could be as a president who's gridlocked by a system that would keep him from getting anything done. Twitter went crazy over Mamdani taking a picture with Alex Soros. Good, let them go crazy. We unironically, I know that anti-Semitism is, for the most part, like in the context that we discuss it, it usually gets brought up by hysterical bad faith Zionists who will accuse, you of being anti-Semitic for opposing a genocide. But anti-Semitism is a real problem, and it is like kind of insane that the entire Republican Party has normalized a rhetorical strategy of essentially doing the JQ with Soros specifically. To the point where it even affects his relatives, it's sickening. We have a moral responsibility not only to reject the evil of Zionism, but to do the job the Zionists pretend to do, and to defend Jewish people, and to advocate for their rights and protect them from discrimination. I've watched you grow from some lame debater to the preeminent voice on the left. Let's fundraise to get you a studio. I offer to help. No homo. Here's cash. This is my studio. I like this. I don't want like a Majority Report studio where I have to leave my physical house and like put on pants and then go over. I'm a live streamer. I don't think of this as a show. This is a stream, That's fine by me, But yeah, no, this is my vibe. I don't want to pretend at being more serious than I am. There are elements of what I do that I take very seriously, but I do not take the format seriously. And that's a promise right there. You still overdosing on Gatorade? No, I decided that my Gatorade consumption was weakness, so I stopped.